It's the next day. Let's see if the fruits of our labor have produced good results. I'm going to take off the clamps, undo the wooden blocks, and then we have to make a couple of little slices in the header bows to get those mushroom head studs exposed so they can click into the windshield channel. Here's we have really good adhesion in this corner area, which was a concern, and on this other side as well, things have stuck down very nicely. Everything is good and well stuck. Inside the header bows, right near the end, is that mushroom headed button that goes into the windshield channel. Try to mark it here. We have to cut a little slit in the fabric so that can poke through and latch into the channel in the windshield top. So I'm just going to find the edges of it here. And then I've got a sharp blade. I'm just going to saw a slit in the fabric. This area, and coax the fabric over the top of that stud. There we go. And those are in place now too. For those of you who built your cars, these are very familiar tools. We have a pop riveter, Cleco pliers, and Cleco hold down clips. And we're going to be using those to attach the latches to the ends of the header bows. I used a sharp pointed X-Acto knife to punch a few cuts into the holes for those clips. And then we're going to install a Cleco fastener, and then get our latch oriented correctly so that the loop is down, so when it hooks we can pull it and latch it. I think it'd be real easy to get these on the wrong way, and then you got to drill the rivets out. So I'm just going to open that Cleco up temporarily, clip it with one hole, get another one, get it through, and then grab the backing washer for the rivet. Well, I have a clearance issue between the snout on my rivet gun and the Cleco that I'm using to hold the clip in place. So we're going to rejig this up to where we have a Cleco holding the clip through the front, and we will put the rivet in from the back, you want to make sure that that rivet is seated down against the inside of the header bow as far as possible. Get that backing washer down and flat. Get your rivet tool. I've got my thumb on the backing washer, my fingers on the head of the tool, and now you try to get a squeeze on your rivet tool. And that is set. Take out the cleco. Get our next rivet installed. Another backup washer. Make sure that rivet is set down and pressed against the inside of the header bow and protruding. My thumb is pressing down against that washer, and there we have it. We'll go do the other side. Now we will try to get our windshield bows latched into the header. We still have the extra material attached. Have to kind of be mindful of that, manage that. A little difficult because it's now stretched. There, I got it. Got that one. Slide these down over the windshield. And engage our latches for the first time. Fitting quite right. Make sure I don't have any fabric wadded up. Nope. And wanted it tight. Take a little walk around here. Remember, at this stage, the bows that form the window openings and then your cross bows are not in place. So that is just stretched tight as it is, and those will induce a little bit more stretch to the top. Today's little project is going to be cleaning up the upholstery on the header bows. To date, it's just glued on the front and the back sides of the front surface of the channel. It's not secured down into the bottom of the channel, down in here, or onto the back side. Earlier segment, I painted these bows because I wasn't sure if I was going to wrap the upholstery all the way around or not. And I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to glue it to the inside face and trim it off flush. Then I might mask this off a little bit, touch it up, hit it with some more paint, make it pretty again. And I think that'll be the end of working on the header bows and the top itself. I'm going to spread some glue down into this channel and onto the top fabric again. Let it set up. We'll stick that down, rub it in real good, and then trim it off. Using some clothespins to hold the fabric away from the area in the channel where I want to get some glue down. Then I'll give the inside of that channel a nice coat of adhesive, let it tack up, pull the pins, clothespins, coat the fabric, and then we'll stick this together. I'm not too concerned down in the base of the channel, but I do want to make sure I get a good bond near the edges, and especially on this upper rim, because I'm going to stick the fabric down and then trim it off flush against this little ridge, this little edge here. So I want to make sure I've got a nice even coat of glue along this edge. You want to be careful, but you don't have to be utterly precise. You can remove this adhesive after it dries with some mineral spirits. So okay, we're going to let that tack up, and then we will coat the fabric. Just finishing up applying contact cement to the inside of the fabric where it's going to roll into that channel. And we will give it its required setup time and then stick these together. So now I'm going to start working from the center outward and getting this material down and into the corners where it needs to go. I got to get the little slit back over the mushroom button, and then I can use my little wedge nylon tool to coax the fabric out into that corner, into that edge. I want to get the bottom stuck if possible before I stick the vertical, let's say the vertical edge. So I'm going to apply a little upward pressure. It's kind of like wrestling a fill in the blank. I'll leave that up to you guys. You just want to make sure that that fabric is tucked down tight into this backside corner and not leaving a bubble. I think I just found one right here, so I'm going to try to peel this loose a little bit, break that bond, stretch it over. Now coax it back to where it needs to be. Want the fabric tight into the crease. Now go back and stick it to that vertical. You can stretch and pull a little bit. And stuck down very well around that mushroom button. So I'm pressing in the crease and against that edge at the same time. Got the upholstery all tucked in and smoothed into the corners, and now got a fresh razor blade, and I'm gonna trim it off flush with the top of that inside aluminum. We'll start a little hole here and work our way back to this edge. And then pulling backward a little bit on it as I slice. I'm just letting the blade ride on that edge. Don't nick your front edge. Be careful. And I'm going to stop short of the end of the header bows, about an inch. I'm just going to leave that. I haven't decided what I want to do in the middle here. I'll trim the other side. Again, stopping short of that edge. I'm going to do a little cleanup work in the corners here. I think I'm going to cut the fabric pretty much right on the weld bead, straight up. Get rid of this little flag in here. There's a similar one on the other side. And then address what I want to do in the middle. My plan is to cut off the excess material 90 degrees to the header bows, just in a straight line, straight up. And that's going to leave me material to be able to fold it over and glue it to itself, similar to what happens on the front surface between the header bows. And then I might, once it's folded over and stuck to itself, I might leave this little flag in the back instead of having a sharp edge. We'll figure that out when we get there. Well, I figured the easiest way to do what I wanted to do here was to remount the top. I have glue applied to the header bows, the fabric itself, and the objective is going to be to roll this over and attach it. And then I have some duckbill pliers. They're smooth jawed. And then I'll be able to slide up behind and pinch that down, squeeze it, and get a good bond. Because I want that fold to be on the same plane as the header bows. Pull up and stick a little bit. I don't want to stretch it sideways or distort the weave of the fabric. Just want to pull it up. And I'm very lightly stuck it there. This is working well. I can get behind the header and squeeze and get a good bond to the fabric on the aluminum. I think what I want to do with the remainder of this tail just revealed itself. I'm not going to bond it in here because these header bows need to flex a little bit. And when you take it off, you have to be able to fold the top in half lengthwise. So I think I might just leave this loose and just maybe glue this front edge right here. But now that it's glued and stuck, I can clean up these cuts, make that a nice sharp edge. And there we go.